Welcome back to Indiana Diecast Racing and the Death Race. Only 2 videos left in round 2, and today we've got groups 17 and 18. First up for group 17, it's Numbskull in his Black Widow called Natasha, one of 3 remaining Numbskull Racing entries. Numbskull drove this car to a smashing round 1 victory, racking up 15 points. The matriarch of dubious diecast, Mrs. Nefarious, hits the track again in her 68 Mustang called Malicious, which she also drove to a group victory in round 1. Last race we saw Kit Cam in what was actually Miyazaki Hut, making this Miyazaki Cha, another Klingon-themed LaFasta, and he tied Dangerous Dawn for the group win in round 1. Finally, Frankenstein is in the totally on-theme Death Race 2000, his Corvette Stingray from Golden Owl Racing. Frank tied Digi for the round 1 win. Lap 1 with Numbskull and Mrs. Nefarious on the front row, Kit and Frankenstein in the back. The group of 4 winners start close and Numbskull able to edge out front as they get in line. Nefarious spins and explodes in turn 3. Frankenstein takes advantage with the reverse double pass. Numbskull takes lap 1 as the safety barrier crashes onto the final straight. I think Frankenstein connected with it, but he's just able to take second ahead of Kit Cam. That's probably a sign that this track's days are numbers, which they are. Mrs. Nefarious turns sideways coming out of turn 2, and Kit snowplows her car into turn 3, resulting in a gnarly rollover wreck. She sorta gets some immediate revenge as Kit gets hung up, allowing Frankenstein to drive from the back to take second. Numbskull and his Black Widow with the early lead. Kit takes the pole for lap 2 with Numbskull on the outside. It's a tight group as they hit turn 1 and Kit spins out front. Kit leads in reverse as Mrs. N spins in the back. Numbskull up on the wall and now sideways as Kit Cam pulls away and he'll win lap 2. Frankenstein passes Numbskull on the final straight for second. Looks like Mrs. Nefarious is on her roof in that crowded turn 3 infield. Mrs. N starting P4 lags behind early and really struggled in that rough air. She spins out by herself in the back and I think she just lost so much momentum she was unable to clear the final turn. Kit Cam with a not so clean win, but a win nonetheless. 3 drivers tied with 6 after 2. Frankenstein and Kit on the front row, Mrs. Nefarious and Numbskull in the back. Kit gets a half car length ahead and slides down into the lead again. Numbskull fights off Frankenstein for second. Oh! Frankenstein catches a tooth on the wall and launches himself off the track. Numbskull closes on Kit, but Kit Cam comes away with another lap victory. There's Frank, but he's probably alright. He seemed to be running fine, but goes low to high in turn 3 and those teeth work against him. With back-to-back wins, Kit Cam takes a 1-point lead into the final lap. Mathematically eliminated, Mrs. Nefarious will run her final lap from the pole. Those 2 DNFs just too much to overcome. Frankenstein gets tossed out front by Kit and leads in reverse. There's single file as Kit chases Frank. Kit gives Frank a tap, but lap 4 is Frankenstein, Kit, Nefarious, and Numbskull. A nice smooth lap, and we've got a tie for second between Numbskull and Frankenstein. It's another head-to-head runoff, best of 3. Frank gets a couple teeth in front, but Numbskull stays right with him, and Numbskull takes the lead. Frank pulls even again, but Numbskull giving a masterclass in blocking. They slide to the finish, and Numbskull takes a wicked first lap. They swap lanes and take off. Dead even into 1 again. Frankenstein has fallen off the track. All Numbskull needs to do now is finish the lap, and Numbskull will sail into round 3 with Kit Cam. Transition! On to Group 18 with Flip from Flip's Racing in one of 2 lethal diesels, this one named Warboy. Flip and Warboy made it past that round 1 3-way lethal diesel runoff that sent Brutal to the wildcard event. From Arlo Racing, it's Danny T driving his Audi Quattro with flamethrower called Spring Wheel Jack. Danny took second well behind Linkster's Evo in round 1. Representing Digital Diecast Racing, it's Digi in his BMW M3 called Autobomb. Digi tied Frankenstein for the win of Group 2 in round 1. Lastly, the Police Edition Ford Mustang called Rat Circus is driven by Grumpy Cloud. GC won his group in the first round with only 10 points. Flip and Danny kick us off up front, Digi and Grumpy in the back. Digi way off pace as Danny jumps out front and rolls right off the track. Digi has fallen off the track in turn 1, and Flip now leads Grumpy Cloud. It's no contest, Flip takes lap 1. Hopefully Danny won't ignite the subtrack safety surface with his flamethrower. Danny gets a good push from Grumpy Cloud out of the gate, but slides down and hits the inside wall too hard, and all that liquid fuel for his flamethrower pulls him over the side. Flip wins from the pole to go up early. Digi takes the pole for lap 2. The outside lane flies off the line and Flip is right back out front again, and Danny tumbles off the track in nearly exactly the same spot. Grumpy passes Digi, but he'll be hard-pressed to catch Flip. Lap 2 is Flip, Grumpy Cloud, and Digi. So far, the story's been about Flip winning from the front, and Danny's inability to make it to turn 2. Flip and Grumpy Cloud owning the group so far. Grumpy Cloud will look to eliminate Digi from the pole here on only lap 3. Flip gets held up by Digi and Danny's up on the wall and he rolls! Grumpy also rolls. No! He's right side up and takes a shot from Flip, who cruises by all 3 drivers, and he'll complete the turkey on what winds up being a triple DNF lap 3. That third DNF will probably seal Danny T's fate. Danny did actually make it to turn 2 this time, then both he and Grumpy Cloud climb the wall and roll nearly simultaneously. Flip goes from worst to first in the span of the overpass. Flip locks up the group victory, and all Grumpy needs to do to make round 3 is complete lap 4. Danny T takes the final pole, just looking to put some positive numbers on the board. Digi gets left behind and Danny T leads. No, he's off the track for a 4th consecutive DNF, and look who's out front again. Flip takes his 4th lap victory for a perfect second round score. Grumpy Cloud closes out the lap to follow Flip to round 3. Oh, Digi's moving again, and he'll cross the line to take 3rd. Just when I thought Danny might end his tournament on a high note, he falls all the way to the subtrack safety surface once again. Flip with a perfect score. He'll be one to watch for sure. Congratulations to Kit Kam, Numbskull, Flip, and Grumpy Cloud. This has been Jim D for Indiana Diecast Racing. Be sure to check in next time for more slightly above mediocre diecast racing and the continuing round 2 action of the Death Race.